here for another episode of Soak It Up with Maria Zepeda, and this is my sister Sarah here with me again. Today we have a very special guest. This is someone who's really special to us. This is our great-grandma Lucy, and this month it is our Grandma Lucy's 90th birthday, so happy birthday, Grandma.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
She's the monarch of our family.
Mm-hmm.
So she's been telling us stories since we were little babies, and I love her stories. I love coming on Thanksgiving, Christmas, and just listening to you. And life these days is a lot different. So I guess we just want to know what it was like back then in those days. She also has 13 siblings? 13 or 14 siblings?
12.
In my family, okay. 14.
Oh,
14?
Wow. It's a big family.
Yeah. So, our grandma was the first girl. She had, how many older brothers do you have?
Had 4 older brothers and had 5 sisters, but they were all younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
So you were the oldest of the girls?
Oldest of the girls. Yeah. I have 1 sister left, and she's the youngest of the girls.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, you were saying you had 4 brothers and 5 sisters?
Mm-hmm. And a set of twins besides that.
Okay. So, was it 14 including your parents?
No,
It was
Just
14?
14, just the siblings.
siblings. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Wow. We have been extremely blessed to have this woman in our lives. Like Maria said, she's our great-grandma, but she actually has... How many great-great-grandchildren do you have now?
14. I just had another one last
now.
week.
Oh my gosh, congratulations. Who had a baby?
Jenny.
Jenny. Oh, Pagelin had a baby.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So I remember when when Lily was born, your first great-great-granddaughter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember that? And we were all so excited, and it was like, Grandma's going to have a great-great-granddaughter.
Yeah.
And now you have 14 great-great-grandchildren.
Yeah, and she's the oldest great-great is almost 11 now.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Time flies.
It does. And I feel like Grandma hasn't changed since I was born. You've been the same.
No.
Yeah. You're an angel Grandma who never changed. I'm serious. You're amazing, Grandma. We love you.
I love you guys too. Every last one of you.
We are very blessed.
Yeah, so we wanted to just talk a little bit, get to know what it was like, growing up for you. It's a lot different now. So, Yeah, so we were saying you have 14 siblings. How was it growing up with, that big of a family?
Believe it or not, it was great. It really was. It wasn't. You probably wouldn't believe that it was great, but we did.
Yeah.
We played with each other. We were country kids. Lived in the country.
Mm-hmm.
And our life was so different than yours that you probably won't believe it. You think I'm exaggerating, but I'm not.
It's like watching Little House on the Prairie.
Yes. Yes. I was raised right down here on 8 Mile Road. I've been in this area my whole life.
Yeah.
I moved a couple of times, but I moved right back again. Went to Florida once, lived in Florida for a little while. Lived in Indiana for a little while. But I've been in this area my whole life.
So, would you say that as a child you got to spend more time doing things? I feel like these days kids grow up extra fast. They do, just because of the way life is. But I feel like in your day, you had to grow up fast just, to make ends meet. Yeah, in a different way. Mm-hmm. Because, how old were you? I remember the story you used to tell of when your mom had a baby and your dad came in and told you you were going to have to start taking care of things. How old were you?
The first one was my brother Jack,
Mm-hmm.
and my mom had a bad time. She had him at home,
Mm-hmm.
and Dad came in and told me that I'm really going to have to, help Mom because she had a bad time, and I was 6 years old.
6 years old.
Jack's 6 years older than me, younger than me,
Yeah.
Wow.
and that's when I started actually trying to really help. I mean, I always helped. We all
Yeah.
did.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody had their chores, buddy. They better be done when my dad come home.
Yeah. Oh, you just reminded me of another story, but finish this one and I'll ask you some about that one.
You probably forgot about Jack being the first one.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
At home.
'Cause-
Having him at home. It was,
Were the other births she had at the hospital?
some of them, not all of them. I think she delivered Bob. She delivered twins at home by
Okay.
herself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
And Bob was not very, he was only a couple years younger than you, wasn't he?
2.
2
2
years.
years younger.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I was 3 when the twins were born,
Wow.
and that's young.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
And you might as well say she had like 3 babies.
All at once.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and nobody with her to take care of her. My dad was out of town.
When she had the babies, he
Mhm.
was out of town?
Yeah,
So
Wow. And
how
she had
did
those ones at home.
had them at home.
she birthed twins at home by herself?
Yes, she did.
Wow. So who all was home with you guys?
Let's see, there was Bill, Ray, Bill, Ray, Clarence, Bob, which is one of the twins,
Mm-hmm.
and Betty was his twin. And she was alone. All she had was us little kids.
Do you remember it at all?
No, I don't really remember them being born.
Mm-hmm.
I think most of it's what I've heard,
You
about-
were so young.
Yeah. And I do remember that was in 37, in the 37 flood. The night, about a week or so after, we had the 37 flood.
Mm-hmm.
And we were in our home. We lived in a big house down on the river, 2-story. And my uncle Clarence was, he was a captain of a riverboat down there. All
Really?
his life, all of his life took care of the riverboats. And he came to our house. The flood was way up. And he told my dad, get us out of that house because the water was already up to our
Yeah.
second floor.
Wow.
Wow. So what did you guys do?
My Uncle Clarence brought some boats up. He had boats and all that.
Mm-hmm.
And he took care of the yacht club. He brought them up. My dad put us all in the boats, took on several boats,
Yeah.
And that night, about 2 o'clock in the morning, a barge hit our house. Demolished
Oh
it.
my goodness.
Wow. That's because you guys all got out of, yeah.
Mhm.
So
And then we were back. I'm jumping ahead, but we were back to when Jack was born.
mm-hmm.
Anyway, I started helping Mom like always, but I was kind of young, and I never will forget. My dad came to me next morning and he said, "Lucy, now you're going to have to fix breakfast."
At 6 years old.
Yeah. And I said, Dad, I don't know. He wants biscuits and gravy, and that's all they ate. I didn't because I don't like biscuits and gravy. And I said, I did. I don't know how Mom always did that. And He said, well, you knew how. You just get some flour and milk and make it like your mom did. I had no idea what I was doing. But anyway, I went and we didn't have any flour.
Oh my gosh.
No flour. And I went and told him, and I said, Dad, we don't have any flour. I can't make gravy. And he said, oh, no. Looking in the closet, he said, here's a bag of cornmeal. Make it with this. So I did. It was horrible. I had to throw it away. So, and I don't remember what happened after that.
Oh, well, you tried.
I tried.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But that's-
being so young, like
Mm-hmm.
doing it from scratch and everything.
Yeah. I tried, though, but
Yeah.
it was awful, even to look at.
Wow.
Awful. Well, we were so poor. We didn't realize that we were as poor as we were until we always out here in the country. We had no neighbors or anything. Right down here on 8 Mile Road, which is all built up now, but my house where I lived is still there, and it's country.
Yeah.
But now it's all built up.
And
Yeah.
you didn't know you were poor because that was just life. That was just
that
it was
life.
just normal. Yeah.
And we had very little friends because we're out in the country and nobody, lived. We didn't have real near neighborhoods.
Yeah.
But where was I?
You were starting high school, you said?
Oh, I just got ahead of myself again. When I went to I only went to the first year of high school, and I dropped out.
Really?
Yes, because I was so embarrassed. There were, high school, lots of kids. I wasn't used to that many kids because I went to a little country school down here in Newtown.
Yeah.
And they made fun of me, mainly because of the way I was always dressed,
Yeah.
I didn't have nice clothes like them other kids. And my mom and dad used to buy 50-pound bags of flour, potatoes, all that kind of stuff,
Yeah.
And the flour bags, big bags that they bought, they were beautiful. They would have flowers and everything all over.
Wow.
And when they were emptied, when Mom used them all, she would cut them up and make me dresses.
I mean, how unique is that? That's so cool.
And
Yeah.
The kids didn't think it was cool.
Oh, but it already has like a pretty pattern and everything.
And not only make me dresses to wear, they made fun of. She made our tablecloths. She made our curtains. Everything looked alike. I matched the kitchen.
Get the use out of everything.
I think that's crazy because I've seen that in movies, in old time movies where they would use like the chicken feed bags.
Yeah.
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 But I can't believe you lived that. That's just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I liked it.
Yeah.
I wasn't upset about it, except for the kids making
Making
fun of me.
Yeah.
And then in the wintertime, I never had any socks to wear. Cold. We had to walk a long way to the bus stop, too. And they made fun of me for that because I didn't, the kids at school did.
Yeah.
They never wore socks.
You guys must have been freezing.
Yeah. It gets cold, yeah.
Yeah, and we had a long way to go, too. We lived way back at the end of the road,
Yeah.
And it was cold, really cold.
That makes me think of one of the chores you said that Uncle Jerry had. I think it was Uncle Jerry. One of your brothers had, where they had to, their job was taking out the pot that the little kids would use the restroom in the wintertime.
Exactly.
Yeah. What did he, I can't remember exactly.
That
but
was my brother Bill. He was the oldest boy,
okay.
and he didn't like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't like it either.
After he got older, he had a BB gun that he had gotten for Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Boy.
And every time Mom and Dad buy a new pot, he'd go shoot holes in it.
Well,
In the
that's
pot.
Oh,
And we
That's what I
had
remember.
Yeah.
we didn't have inside plumbing or nothing like that,
Yeah.
you know. And we had to have those pots. But he hated it, and he'd shoot holes in our pots. He'd get in trouble for it, but he'd still do it, you know. It embarrassed him.
Yeah. So since he did that, you guys had to end up just going outside to use
Yeah.
the bathroom, right?
And we had a lot of babies, you know.
So all the little kids
Yeah.
had to just go
Yeah.
outside anyway.
Yeah. Well, Dad built a toilet, you know, one of them 2 holes. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, like a outhouse?
Outhouse, yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, the 2 holes.
Mhm.
But he had to build it way over on the side of our house to keep it away from our house.
Yeah.
And that's a long way to walk for a little baby, little
In the
2
middle
or
of the
3
night
year old.
too.
Yeah. But that's what we had to do, you know. And we never had any plumbing, actual plumbing, until I was about 12 years old or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah. We had to carry our water from the well and use the pot for the little kids at night, you know. There's
Yeah.
things you have to do, you gotta do it, you
Yeah.
know. But my brothers, they never liked that. I didn't like it either, but I ain't the one that had to empty them, you know.
Yeah.
So, what were some of the things that you guys would do for fun, like as children, you and your siblings?
Mainly, we used to go out in the field and play baseball.
Baseball?
Yeah. And we did that a lot. And I hardly ever got to bat because my brothers were all better than me, you know?
Yeah, that's sad.
You know, I had to run and chase. You know, I'm a fielder all the time. They let me bat once in a while, you know, when I start crying.
Oh. Was it usually you and your older brothers that would play?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What kind of things did the younger kids do?
Dig holes, play in the mud, go swimming.
That's
Yeah.
We kind of were brought up in that old-fashioned way. I loved making mud pies. It was my favorite.
mud pies.
We had a
Mixing
lot
it
of work
together.
to do, though, too. All
Yeah.
of us. The boys had to chop wood
Mhm.
and feed. We raised hogs,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to feed the hogs and feed the horses. They'd go out in the fields and chop down these big, tall, I forget what they call them, horse weeds, we called them. Feed to the horses. We had a lot of chores.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyway, when Shirley was born, like I said, we lived downtown in Cincinnati on Green Street, which is down by Finley Market.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a great thing because we had a toilet and running water for a while. You know. And we only had 2 rooms. We had the kitchen and the bedroom.
How many kids were there at that time?
Let's see, Bill, Ray, Clarence, Bob, Charlie, Betty.
That's a lot.
I think that's
How many was that?
Anyway, from the top down to Shirley, however many that is, 6 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm losing my train of thought. My dad came home from work and my mom was in labor.
With who this time? Shirley? And Shirley?
Mm-hmm. And he made all of us kids go get in the kitchen. We all went in the kitchen. And Mom was in the living room. And he had to sit in the kitchen until she had a baby.
Yeah.
But she had a baby pretty fast, so I will say that. Didn't take that long. A few hours.
Wow.
Oh, that is
And then he wrapped Shirley up in a blanket. And he came in the kitchen where we all were. And he laid her right in the middle of the table. He said, "You wanted a sister. Here she is. Take care of her." And I did. And I took her to school and everything, you know. The only sister I had.
Yeah.
Because Betty died, you know, her and James.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, you know. But I was tickled to death. I loved her to death. She was the prettiest little baby. Oh my gosh, she had eyes like Vivian.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Big and beautiful.
big, beautiful.
Oh man, I mean, you look at Vivian, and it's like looking at Shirley. She had the same kind of eyes, same color and everything. And
I think of them as like, yeah, like
Yeah.
doe eyes almost. Like a deer.
Yeah, like a deer.
yeah,
Like,
beautiful.
Yeah,
Of course, I thought she was beautiful anyway, but she really was pretty.
yeah.
Pretty girl, man. And Maudie was pretty too when she was a baby. Oh, she was so pretty. And she had a little fat, chubby baby.
oh.
Beautiful, dark, curly hair. She was also born on the river. And she,
I remember you telling me about her birth. Her birth is crazy.
yeah, took a long time.
Yeah.
And Dad delivered her.
Mm-hmm.
But we all had to go sit. We only lived on a boat. We only had 2 rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we all had to go out and sit in my dad's car in February until she had that baby. We couldn't stay in the house while she was in labor.
And there were a lot of you at that time when Maudie was born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's second from the baby.
Yeah, there were like 8 or 9 of you out there then, weren't there?
About 10 or 11.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness, yeah, because of all of them.
They're near there anyway. Yeah, but my dad was trying to deliver her, and her arm was hung up.
It was caught, so
Yeah, it was caught, and he couldn't get her out. And he had some old lady, they call them midwives.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she lived down on the river, down from us a little bit. And she came up and helped him, and they couldn't get Maudie out. She weighed 13 and a half pounds.
Wow.
That's a big
That
baby.
is a big baby.
Yeah.
And the old lady that was helping Dad wanted to break Maudie's arm. She said, if we break her arm, we can get her out. And Mom wouldn't let him. She said, no, absolutely not. And she told him, I never heard of anything like that. She told him, she said, just turn me over on my side, and I'll get this baby out of here. He turned her over on her side. She had a few pains, and baby was born.
Wow.
That is crazy.
That is crazy.
How long was that birth?
Oh my God. Seemed like we sat out there all night almost. And it was so cold, I remember that. We never had blankets to cover up with at home. We were so poor, we didn't have blankets for our beds.
Yeah.
And we slept on the floor with coats over us. I was the only one. I was fortunate. I always had my own bed.
Because you were the girl.
And then after Shirley was born, we slept in like one of the little cots. They have ones. And we finally came in and got to see her, and everything worked out all right. But to this day, she doesn't really know when her birthday is. And I know, I remembered. And I think what happened, I think my dad signed her birthday, her certificate.
Birth certificate.
Because the only reason I say that, everybody says she was born, well, Dad says she was born on the 1st. And, but she wasn't. She was born on the 2nd.
Yeah.
Because I remember my dad talking about Groundhog Day. He said, well, got me one on Groundhog Day. How about that? And that's stuck in my mind. She had a lot of trouble with that too. So did Ruthie. Dad delivered Ruthie too.
Yeah.
No birth certificate.
Not knowing the day. That would be a little bit frustrating for sure.
Everybody calls Mom and wishes her happy birthday on the 1st of February. I never do. I call her on the 2nd and I say, happy true birthday.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah.
No.
So I wanted to ask, tell us a little bit about how protective your brothers were, because I always love to hear that. Just
Yeah.
like
Oh,
how, especially you being like out for a while, just being the only girl, I'm sure they had that like older brother protection with you.
they did that even after I got married, and that's the God's truth.
Especially when you got married, if I remember correctly, when you got married to Grandpa Nick, that's crazy. Just everything.
I ran away and married him because I wasn't allowed to have a boyfriend.
How old were you?
16.
Yeah.
And I was allowed, there was 3 boys, there was friends, me and the 2 girlfriends I had across the street.
Mhm.
And them boys, we was playing kick the can out in the street.
Mhm.
All the kids did that.
Yeah.
And we got acquainted, and this was my boyfriend, this was her boyfriend, you know, that kind of stuff. But I was never allowed to date or anything like that. And I did one time, it actually wasn't a date. My mom and dad used to go to the movies once a week. There was a movie up on Eastern Avenue back then, and they would go to the movies once a week, and I babysat.
Yeah.
Okay? And then we were allowed to go to movie once a week. First time I was ever in a movie. I was in a movie later, but a movie house, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my mom and dad went to the theater to watch a movie. And the 3 friends, well, there's only 3 of us, but come up to my house. Nick
was one of them.
he was the one that I liked.
Mhm.
And his daddy had just bought a car, and he drove up in front of our house, you know, and he wanted me to take a ride. And I said, oh, God, no, my mom and dad kill me. And they would have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Knew it. And he said, we won't be gone long. I said, they're just at the theater and they'll be back pretty soon. He talked me into it. It wasn't hard. I liked him. And we got in the car, all 3 of them, 2 girlfriends and me, and their 2 boyfriends and Nick. And we started down on Eastern Avenue. He wanted to show us his dad's car. He was driving around. We got way down, like past Delta, which you don't know where that's at, Eastern Avenue and Delta.
Yeah.
And car broke down.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh.
no.
You know. And I was in tears. I thought, oh my God, my mom and dad, they'll kill me. I left the kids at the house.
Where were your
How-
brothers? Were they out?
Yeah. Well, Bob and Charlie and them weren't, you know, and
The younger
Cheryl and
ones
all,
weren't.
they were
Yeah.
all there, but I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
But I thought we were just going to ride a few blocks and come back home. We
Mhm.
went a little bit too far. And then the car broke down. And we had no way to get home. Back then, we didn't have no telephones or nothing, you know.
Yeah.
And I can't think. Nick, my husband's father, his name is Nick too.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Somehow he got a hold of his dad. He got out of the car. He must have went somewhere and used somebody's phone. But anyway, he got a hold of his dad, told his dad to come and pick us up because the car broke down.
Yeah.
And he wasn't very happy either. So just as he came up, he picked us up and was taking us home. And just as we get to our house, my mom and dad was coming down the street.
Oh my gosh. This sounds like a movie scene.
Oh my God. I was in tears. I was terrified. Believe me, I had reason to be too. And he got down to the car, and we were getting out of the car. Mom and Dad got down to the car, and my mother, she went nuts. What are you doing in a car with that old man? Nick's dad.
Yeah.
You know. And she started in on me. She jerked me out of that car. My girlfriends lived across the street. And, their mom was a little ticked off at him, you know, but they didn't get in trouble. Boy, I sure did. Oh my God. And she pulled me out of the car, and everybody scattered, and we explained to Mom, tried to explain what happened, but
Yeah.
I had no business leaving that house
Mhm.
and leaving them babies. Wasn't all babies, but all the little ones.
Yeah.
Boy, she like to beat the living crap out of me. My dad never whipped me. He never did. One time he hit me in my life. Boy, my mom sure made up for it. And my brother Bill and Thelma had just gotten married. They were newlyweds. And they happened to come in. Me and she was really railing me. And I said, "What's going on?" My sister-in-law. Mom's mad at you for getting in a car with Nick and Dad. And I said, "Yeah, Thelma." I was trying to explain. I was really a good kid. I mean, I was. And when my brother was standing there, and he said, "What did she do, Mom?" And she said, "She went out to be babysitting. Me and your dad went to the movie, and she left these kids here all alone." And Bob and Charlie and Jack and Charlie, they were all there, you know, but they were little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Thelma said, "Well, she didn't go that far." And Bill said, "You don't know how far they went. Get her some more, Mom. Give her some more."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What a great older brother.
Oh, and she gave it to me again, buddy. I never went through such a night as that. She was so mad at me. And then
How old do you think you were at that time?
I was 16.
So that was close to when you got married.
After that, we ran away and got married.
Wow.
Actually, after the car deal, I wasn't allowed to see Nick anymore. He came up, kicked a can out in the street and that, but I wasn't allowed to go out. Couldn't see him no more. And then, I don't know how long that was. Wasn't too long. He came up and we were allowed, we had one of them porch swings on the back porch, and we were allowed to sit on the porch swing together, but the kids had to sit out there too, all the kids.
Yeah.
Well, till they came, Mom and Dad came home, and we got talking, and we decided if we couldn't see each other, we'd run away and get married. He was only 17.
Wow.
And I was 16. So, and I worked. A job. I worked downtown at a watch factory, a sewing factory. And my mom had a really good friend that lived a few houses up from us. Good lady, nice. And I told her what I was going to do, that I was going to act like I was going to work. And but I had to change my clothes before we went to get married. And she said I could come up to her house and change my clothes. And
That was nice of her.
yes, it was. I think she felt sorry for me, though. You know, I never was allowed to do nothing.
Yeah.
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 So next morning I get up to go to work, you know, and I went to her house. She let me come in. She helped me get dressed. She was a nervous wreck, though. So was I. And he drove up to must have his dad's car because he didn't have no car. And he drove up to Carroll Street. And I went going up to get on the bus, supposedly. I don't know what Mama did. I know there's a lot of confusion there, but I don't remember what happened. Anyway, I didn't come home that night. We went and stayed with Nick's sister.
Okay.
We started out at his mother's. We didn't know where to go, so we went and stayed with his sisters.
Yeah.
And we stayed over there for like 2 or 3 days. And I was crying. I was so scared, and I kept crying. I wanted to go home. I wanted to go home. And his sister said, "If might as well get it over with, Lucy, you know.
Yeah.
So I thought, oh God, I told him, I said, let's go back to your mom's, and maybe I can go home for a minute. So we went back to his mother's, middle of the night. Somebody's knocking on their door. They lived over in East End where we lived. And it terrified me. I knew it was my family. I just knew it.
So this is when you were back at his parents'?
I went back to his mom and dad's house.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he was in bed upstairs.
Yeah.
And somebody's knocking on the front door late at night. And, oh my God. I was panicking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And Mr. Rose opened the door, and it was my dad. And he said, is my daughter here? I want my daughter. I want her now. He has shotgun. And she said, no, your daughter's not here. Get out of here with that gun. And they hit a few words. He stood on the porch. He sent my brother Ray to the back kitchen door.
Oh my
He
gosh.
was at the back kitchen door, and my brother Bill was at the other door. They had all the doors covered. He had guns. And she lied to him. And they didn't believe her, but they left because Mr. Rose said she's going to call the police. You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
And next day, my Aunt Maud called me to Mr. Rose's house. She said, Lucy, she said, please go home. She said, your mother is going out of her mind, and they're worried about you.
Yeah.
And I said, I want to go home. I cried half time
Yeah.
night I got married. And I did want to go home. I was scared.
Yeah.
And she said, I've talked to them, Lucy. They are worried to death about you. They just want you to come home. They did try to have it annulled, though, but they didn't have the money.
Oh, so they couldn't get it. Yeah.
And anyway, we went back home. When Nick got home from work, I said, my Aunt Maud said, it's okay if I go home. My mom and dad said, it's okay. Come home, please. So we did, and we got there. They were at the dinner table, eating dinner. We had one of the big tables, you know, there were about
Mm-hmm.
8 at once.
Yeah.
And we walked in the front kitchen door. Nick was as scared as I was. He really was.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
With your brothers and your dad being the way they
my
were.
dad, you know.
Yeah.
And we walked in, and I said hi, and they all said hi, and that was it. They never scolded me. They never gave me a spanking, nothing.
Did you go back home to live with your family?
Mm-hmm. Went back home, lived at my mom's.
Did Nick go?
Till we got an apartment. Mm-hmm. We got an apartment right away, though. I could go on and on and on forever. If you can picture, you ever seen that movie, Loretta Lynn story?
Oh, what is that called?
I don't think I have.
Oh my God. That was just like my life. It was the beginning, you know.
Yeah. Before she got married.
Yeah, before she just died.
Yeah.
We had a thing on TV about it. And I said to her,
Coal miner's daughter.
Coal miner's daughter.
Yeah.
And I said once, I love that movie because
Yeah.
it reminded me of my life. You know how her mom would stand out in the yard with the tubs, scrubbing their clothes on the porch floor. That's the exact same way my mom did.
Yeah.
And my mom finally did get a washing machine. It had the motor on the outside, and it was always breaking down. And every time she'd wash it, it would stop washing. And Mom'd stand there and she'd kick it, and then it'd start up again, you know. And the same thing happened in that Loretta Lynn story.
Yeah. I remember
So
that.
real, man.
I need to watch it again now, like with that
Yeah,
in
with-
mind.
Thinking
yeah,
about that.
yeah. We got one pair of shoes a year. And back then it was near the wartime, and you had to have coupons to get stuff, you know, sugar and shoe stuff. And that's when we lived out here on 8 Mile, and I was going to school one day, Me and my brothers. And we lived pretty far back that road. It was at least a mile
Wow.
to walk to the bus stop.
Yeah.
I never was allowed to wear shoes like you guys.
Yeah.
We had to wear, but back then they called them little abders. They were boots like you guys wear now. The boots
Yeah.
that only come up to your ankle.
Yeah.
Like boys. I think they look like boys' shoes.
What were they called?
Little abders.
Little Abners.
Because there was a cartoon in the newspaper, used to be Little Abner.
I haven't heard it before.
You haven't?
No.
No.
I thought it was still in the newspaper. It was in the newspaper for years and years.
That's so crazy.
And my brothers got Little Abners,
Mm-hmm.
and I got a pair of dress shoes. Never had a pair of dress shoes before. And I got little dress shoes, and I was going to school, and we had to cross a creek, you know.
Oh no, what happened?
I fell in the creek and lost my shoes.
Oh. How old were you?
Yeah, how old were you?
About 6, 7,
That's so sad.
maybe.
So
About 6
sad.
years old.
Yeah.
I like to kill me, and I thought my mom and dad was going to kill me.
Oh.
Because we were only like, we had my Aunt Maud,
Yeah.
my mom's twin sister.
Mm-hmm.
She loved me to death. She never had any kids. So she went, you had to have coupons or tickets to get certain things.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't have enough.
Because you had such a big family.
So my Aunt Maud would save her coupons for us sometimes. You know, she didn't have no kids.
Mm-hmm.
And she gave us her coupons so Mom could go get me another pair of shoes. And she
Aw.
was a sweetheart.
That's so.
Yeah.
That is
Really
really
cool.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of adventures. We really did. You ever get a chance to rent that movie?
Yeah.
Coal Miner's Daughter.
Coal miner's daughter.
My brothers used to sit on the couch when her boyfriend would come. He was allowed in the house, though.
Yeah.
Mine wasn't. And it was so funny. The boys would be sitting, her brothers would sit over on the couch. And they'd be weeping and laughing because she had a boyfriend, you know, and her mom and dad, get upstairs, bed, get upstairs. And they're all giggling at the same thing that happened to me. We had bedrooms upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my brothers would, you know, tease me and joke and everything. Oh, he's holding her hand. Mom. He's holding her hand. And she'd chase him upstairs. We dressed like them and everything.
We do need to watch that.
Yeah,
again,
we'll watch
for
that
sure.
movie and
Yeah.
keep that in mind.
You know,
Yeah.
only difference is she was a rotten cook and I was a good cook.
You still are. You always
Yeah,
were.
we love your food.
But
Yeah.
But
Well-
my mom died young. That's what, you know,
mhm,
really young.
yeah.
You know, and all the kids came to live with me. All of them, except for my brother Bill.
The oldest.
Wow.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know because Uncle Jerry still calls you mom.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I go anywhere with him, like to a restaurant or anything, he introduces me as his mom.
Yeah. You must have had a really big impact being that mother to all of the younger ones.
Mhm.
I guess, and they all seem to want to come live with me. But I think they did that so they could get away from Daddy. Yeah.
Oh. Well, we love your stories, Grandma. We're about done on time, though.
Yeah. I mean, I wish
But-
we could keep going. I mean, we
Yeah.
could always, I could honestly, just like I was saying, Thanksgiving, Christmas and stuff, one of my favorite things is just to sit and listen. And I was excited to hear some new ones today, as well as some of the ones that
I
we've
kept
heard before.
trying to think
Yeah.
of things.
Yeah.
There's so
And
much,
I know I jump back and forth.
but there's so many things to tell. It's hard
Yeah.
to. But
A lot of good stories. I think we went through some good ones today, so.
Mhm.
and we wanted to just say again, happy birthday, because
Yes.
Thank you.
90
birthday,
years
Grandma.
old. That's
Please do me a favor. Tell your dad, your mom, whoever, do not get me any presents. I'm having to hang them outside.
What if it's just like cookies?
That's fine.
Okay. Cookies are okay. But no more planters or birdhouses, nothing like that.
I'll put them in the closet if I get them.
All right. Well, we love you, Grandma.
Love you too. Let's go eat.
Yes,
Yep,
let's go eat.
Let's go eat.
Love
So we're
you,
gonna
Grandma.
wrap up this episode of Soak It Up. So guys, like down below, comment your thoughts, and let us know what you think, and subscribe. And we'll see you all later.
Bye.